Seleucid Empire, one of the successor states of Alexander the Great's vast empire, was a powerful Hellenistic state that controlled much of Asia, stretching from the eastern Mediterranean to the Indian subcontinent. This empire emerged after the death of Alexander in 323 BCE, during the subsequent wars of the Diadochi, or his generals, who fought for control over the territories he had conquered. The Seleucid Empire was established by Seleucus I Nicator, one of Alexander's generals, who ultimately gained control of the eastern parts of Alexander's empire, including Persia, Mesopotamia, and much of Anatolia. Origins of the Seleucid Empire. The Seleucid Empire can be traced back to the turbulent period following Alexander's death. Alexander's untimely demise in 323 BCE left his vast empire without a clear successor. His generals, known as the Diadochi, were divided into factions, each vying for control of different regions. Seleucus I was one of the key figures in this struggle. Initially, he served as a satrap, governor of Babylon, a key city in the Persian Empire, under the leadership of Alexander. However, after the assassination of Alexander's regent, Perdiccas, and a series of conflicts between the Diadochi, Seleucus managed to secure control of the vast and strategic region of Mesopotamia. He established the Seleucid dynasty in 312 BCE after defeating the forces of Antigonus I Monophthalmus at the Battle of Ipsus. This victory allowed Seleucus to expand his control into much of the Persian Empire, including the region of Persia, Syria, and even parts of India. Geography and extent of the empire. At its height, the Seleucid Empire was vast, stretching across a significant portion of the ancient world. It included regions such as modern-day Turkey, Syria, Iraq, Iran, Afghanistan, and parts of Central Asia and India. The Seleucid heartland was in Mesopotamia and Persia, where the dynastic capital was established in Antioch, located in modern-day Turkey, near the Orontes River. The empire also included territories like Bactria, Parthia, and regions along the Indus River, making it one of the most expansive Hellenistic empires. The Seleucid Empire bordered the Maurya Empire in India, and at times, there were diplomatic and military engagements between the two states. It reached as far as the western provinces of India, including Gandhara, which would eventually become a part of the Greco-Bactrian kingdom. Political structure and administration. The political structure of the Seleucid Empire was deeply influenced by Greek traditions, with a strong central administration modeled on the Macedonian system of governance. Seleucus Ephrem's rule relied heavily on the use of military power, but he also sought to integrate the various cultures within his empire through a system of satrapies, which were provinces governed by satraps or local rulers who were loyal to the Seleucid king. This system allowed for a relatively decentralized rule over the vast and diverse territories that the Seleucid Empire controlled. In an effort to stabilize his empire, Seleucus first established colonies of Greek settlers in strategic locations, such as Antioch, which became a key city of Greek influence. These colonies served both as military strongholds and as cultural outposts to spread Greek culture and administrative practices throughout the empire. The Seleucid rulers were often seen as legitimate heirs of Alexander's conquests, and they adopted a policy of syncretism, combining Greek and Persian traditions to form a distinct Hellenistic Persian culture. The Seleucid kings used titles like King of Kings, which was a Persian title, as a way of asserting their dominance over the various peoples of the empire. Hellenistic influence and cultural contributions. The Seleucid Empire played a key role in the spread of Hellenistic culture across Asia. Greek influence was particularly strong in urban centers such as Antioch, Seleucia, and Damascus, which were founded by the Seleucid rulers. These cities became important cultural hubs where Greek language, art, philosophy, and scientific knowledge were transmitted and integrated with local traditions. The Greek cities under the Seleucid rule were centers of learning and culture, often housing Greek philosophers, poets, and scientists. Hellenistic art and architecture flourished in these cities, blending Greek styles with local traditions to create unique artistic expressions. For instance, the Seleucid coins often depicted the kings in traditional Greek fashion, but with Persian-style robes or other Eastern motifs, reflecting the blending of the Greek and Persian worlds. The Seleucid Empire also saw the continuation of Greek influence in philosophy and science. Figures such as the philosopher Aristarchus of Samos, who proposed the heliocentric theory, were part of the intellectual life of the empire. Greek texts, such as those of Homer and Plato, were translated into Persian, and Greek learning spread to the courts of India and Central Asia. Conflicts and challenges. Despite its vast territorial holdings, the Seleucid Empire was constantly embroiled in conflicts with neighboring powers, as well as internal struggles for power. One of the most significant challenges came from the rising power of the Parthians, who were based in northeastern Iran. Over time, the Parthians grew stronger, eventually defeating the Seleucid army and capturing key territories in the east, including Parthia and Bactria. The Seleucid Empire also faced challenges from the Egyptian Ptolemaic kingdom. The two empires were often in conflict over control of the strategic region of Syria, which was a key area for trade and military operations. The Wars of the Diadochi, the struggles between the successors of Alexander, were a constant backdrop to Seleucid politics, and the empire was often torn apart by rival factions within its own royal family. In the West, the Seleucids were also forced to confront the growing power of the Roman Republic. Initially, the Seleucid Empire tried to forge an alliance with Rome, but tensions eventually escalated, and the Romans began to challenge Seleucid power in Asia Minor and Syria. The Seleucid Empire's territorial holdings in the West began to shrink as a result of Roman expansion. Additionally, the rise of local powers within the empire, including the Greco-Bactrian kingdom and the Kingdom of Armenia, further weakened Seleucid control. By the 2nd century BCE, the Seleucid Empire had been reduced to a shadow of its former self, with many of its territories lost to external enemies and internal revolts. Decline and fall of the Seleucid Empire. The decline of the Seleucid Empire was marked by a series of military defeats, internal instability, and increasing pressure from external enemies. By the 2nd century BCE, the empire was struggling to maintain control over its vast territories, and it was increasingly fragmented. The Parthian Empire's rise in the east was a significant blow to the Seleucids. After the defeat of Antiochus III at the Battle of Magnesia in 90 BCE, the Seleucids lost their influence over Anatolia and were forced to recognize Roman intervention in the region. In the east, the Parthians carved out an independent kingdom, and by the mid-2nd century BCE, they had replaced the Seleucids as the dominant power in Persia. Internally, the Seleucid Empire was weakened by dynastic struggles and revolts. By the time of the last Seleucid king, Antiochus XIII, the empire was a shadow of its former glory. In 64 BCE, the Roman general Pompey annexed Syria, effectively ending the Seleucid Empire. The remaining territories of the Seleucid realm were absorbed into the Roman Republic, marking the end of the Hellenistic period in Asia. Legacy. Despite its eventual collapse, the Seleucid Empire left a lasting legacy in Asia. Its role in spreading Hellenistic culture throughout the region cannot be understated. The Seleucid kings helped to bridge the gap between the Greek and Persian worlds, fostering a unique cultural blend that influenced art, architecture, and philosophy in Asia for centuries. Moreover, the Seleucid Empire played a key role in the political and military history of the ancient world, influencing the course of history in the Middle East and Central Asia. The Seleucid Empire's integration of Greek and Persian traditions would also have a profound impact on subsequent empires, such as the Parthians and Sassanids, who inherited many of the cultural and administrative systems of the Seleucids. The legacy of the Seleucid Empire remains an important chapter in the history of ancient Asia, one that contributed to the cultural and political development of the region.